allows one to take the initiative better. If there are two practitioners of the same level, and one has a lance and the other a naginata, the one with the lance will have a slight advantage. The effectiveness of the lance and the naginata depends on the situation of combat. They will not be very effective in a confined space, nor when you are surrounded by enemies in a house. They are weapons, especially for the battlefield, indispensable in situations of war. You can learn and develop the subtleties of technique indoors, but they will not be appropriate if you forget the true way. The bow is appropriate when you are moving troops forward or back in the strategy of battle. It makes possible rapid fire in parallel with the use of lances and other arms. It is therefore particularly useful on battlefields in open terrain. But its effectiveness is insufficient for attacking fortresses or for combating enemies who are farther than 36 meters away. At the present time, there are many flowers and little fruit in archery. This goes without saying, and goes for the other arts as well. If an art is nothing but that, it cannot be useful in a really important situation. The interest is great. From within a fortress, there is no weapon more effective than a gun. On the field of battle, also, the interest of the gun is great before an encounter. Once, however, the encounter has begun, its effectiveness diminishes. One of the advantages of the bow is that the trajectory of the arrow is visible, and the deficiency of the gun is that the ball cannot be seen. It is appropriate to examine well this aspect of things. As far as the horse is concerned, it must be strong, resilient, and without bad habits. Generally, as for all the weapons of war, you should choose horses that are large and good for marching. The swords, both the short and the long, should be large and sharp. The lance and naginata, large and well-honed. You must have bows and guns that are powerful and not easily ruined. You should not have a predilection for certain weapons. Putting too much emphasis on one weapon results in not having enough of the others. Weapons should be adapted to your personal qualities and be ones you can handle. It is useless to imitate others. For a general, as for a soldier, it is negative to have marked preferences. You should examine this point well. Cadences in strategy. Cadence is inherent in all things, especially as far as strategy is concerned. It is not possible to master cadence without thorough training. In this world, we can see that different cadences exist. The cadences of the way of the dance and of musicians with their stringed or wind instruments are all concordant and without distortion. Going through the various ways of the martial arts, there are different cadences depending on whether you are shooting a bow, firing a gun, or riding a horse. You must not go against cadence in any of the arts, nor in any handcraft. Cadence also exists for that which does not have a visible form. Regarding the situation of a warrior in the service of a lord, according to the cadences he follows, he will rise or fall in the hierarchy, for there are cadences that are concordant and others that are discordant. In the way of business, there are cadences for making a fortune and cadences for losing it. In each way, there exist different cadences. You must discern well the cadences in conformity with which things prosper, and those in conformity with which things decline. Strategy. Different cadences exist. First, it is necessary to know the concordant cadences, and then to learn the discordant ones. Among the large or small, and slow or fast cadences, it is indispensable for strategy to discern striking cadences, interval cadences, and opposing cadences. Your strategy cannot be sure if you do not succeed in mastering the opposing cadence. At the time of strategic combat, you must know the cadences of each enemy and utilize cadences that they will not think of. You will win by unleashing the cadences of emptiness that are born from those of wisdom. In each scroll, I will write about cadence, examining these writings and training well. You practice diligently from morning till night the way of strategy I teach. Your mind will spontaneously broaden. I am transmitting to the world my strategy in its collective and individual dimensions. I am expounding it for the first time in writing in these 5 scrolls of earth, water, fire, wind, and heaven. Those who would like to learn my strategy should apply the following rules in order to practice it. 1. Think of that which is not evil. 2. Train in the way. 3. Take an interest in all the arts. 4. Know the way of all professions. 5. Know how to appreciate the advantages and disadvantages of each thing. 6. Learn to judge the quality of each thing. 7. Perceive and understand that which is not visible from the outside. 8. Be attentive even to minimal things. 9. Do not perform useless thoughts. You must train in the way of strategy, keeping these general principles in mind. Particularly in this way, if you do not know how to see the right things in broad perspective, you will not be able to become an accomplished practitioner of strategy. If you master this method, you will not lose even alone against 20 or 30 opponents. First of all, because you maintain your vital energy constantly in your strategy, and you practice the direct way, you will win through your techniques and also through your way of seeing. Since you have free mastery of your body as a result of your training, you will win through your body. Since your mind is accustomed to this way, you will also win through your mind. Once you reach this stage, how can you be defeated? Regarding grand strategy, you must be victorious through the quality of the people you employ. Victorious through the way in which you utilize a great number of people. Victorious by behaving correctly yourself in accordance with the way. Victorious by ruling your country. Victorious in order to feed the people. Victorious by applying the law of the world in the best way. Thus, it is necessary to know how not to lose to anyone in any of the ways, and to firmly establish your position and your honor. That is the way of strategy. 12th of the 5th month of year 2 of Shogo, 1645. Shinmen Musashi, to the Honorable Lord Terao Namonojo. 5th of the 2nd month of year 7 of Kanbu, 1667. Terao Jumeo Hatsunobu, for the Honorable Lord Yamamoto Gensuke. Scroll of water. Kind of strategy of my school of 2 swords takes water as its fundamental model. Therefore, I titled this next text The Scroll of Water, because the idea here is to practice a method of pragmatic effectiveness. For this reason, I elucidate the sword techniques of my school in this part of my writing. It is difficult in writing to explain this way in detail as I would like to do. Even where words are inadequate, you should understand the principles intuitively. It is necessary for you to pause and reflect on each of the words and ideograms I have written in this text. If you listen superficially, you run a great risk of deviating from the way. Regarding the principle of strategy, even though I may describe the situation as though talking about individual combat, it is essential to understand this with broad vision, as the principle of a battle among tens of thousands of people. You are in danger of falling into a bad way if you wander and choose the wrong path, for the slightest error in judgment can have grave consequences, especially in this way. If you content yourself with listening to what I write here, it will be impossible for you to reach a high level in the way of strategy. Listen to this text thinking that it is written for you. Do not think that you are just listening or learning written things. Instead of imitating what I write, make this text yours, like a principle that you have brought forth from your own thought. It is necessary to ponder well by putting yourself into the situation. State of mind in strategy. In the way of strategy, one's state of mind need not be distant from the ordinary. In daily life, as well as in strategy, it is necessary to have an ample and broad mind, to carefully keep it very straight, not too tight, not at all loose. In order not to have your mind too much off to one side, it is necessary to place it in the center and move it calmly, so that it does not cease to move even in moments of change. All that has to be examined well. Even at a calm time, the mind is not calm. Even at a moment of great speed, the mind is not at all fast. The mind must not be carried along by the body, nor the body by the mind. The mind must be wary when the body remains unguarded. The mind must not be insufficient, or even a little bit too much. When the surface of the mind is weak, its depth must be strong, so that the opponent cannot perceive one's state of mind. Those who are small, either in size or in number, must know well those who are large in size or number, and those who are large must know those who are small. The large, as well as the small, must keep their minds straight and not overestimate themselves. It is necessary to keep the mind pure and broad, and wisdom will find its place within this breadth. The important thing is to polish wisdom in the mind in great detail. If you sharpen wisdom, you will understand what is just and unjust in society, and also the good and the evil of this world. Then you will come to know all kinds of arts, and you will tread different ways. In this manner, no one in this world will succeed in deceiving you. It is after this stage that you will arrive at the wisdom of strategy. The wisdom of strategy is entirely distinct. Even right in the middle of a battle, where everything is in rapid movement, it is necessary to attain the most profound principle of strategy, which assures you an immovable mind. You must examine this well. Posture in strategy. Regarding posture, it is appropriate to keep the face neither lowered nor raised, nor leaning nor frowning, to keep the eyes unperturbed, the forehead without wrinkles, but with creases between the brows, not to move the eyeballs and not to blink, though keeping the eyelids slightly lowered. In this way, you shape a beautiful, luminous face, keeping the nose straight and lower jaw slightly protruding. Keep your neck straight, putting some force in the hollow of the neck. Lower your shoulders, with the sensation that the torso from the shoulders down forms a unity. Keep the back straight. Do not stick out your buttocks. Push your force downward from your knees to the tips of your toes. Advance the belly slightly forward so that the pelvis does not lose its stability. Remember the adage, squeeze from one corner, which recommends pressing the scabbard of the small sword, wakizashi, firmly against the belly so that your belt does not loosen up. In sum, it is necessary for you to have as your posture for strategy just the ordinary one. It is essential that the posture of strategy be the ordinary one for you. This must be examined well. Way of looking in strategy. Look must be broad and ample. Looking and seeing are two different things. Look powerfully, see gently. It is necessary to look at what is distant as something that is close, and what is close as something that is distant. This is essential for strategy. It is fundamental in strategy to know the sword of the adversary without ever looking at it. You must exercise well in this. Whether it is a matter of strategy on the individual scale or strategy on the large scale, the way of looking is the same. It is essential to look to both sides without moving your eyes. But without preparation, you will not be able to achieve this way of looking at the time of combat. That is why you had better study well what I write here. You must accustom yourself to looking all the time in this way in order to be able to keep this way of looking in any situation. Examine this